started. And I'll just ask everybody to stand. We'll say our pledge tonight. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call tonight. Noel? Here. Jim? Here. Gardner? Vanessa's here. Kovac? Here. And Croft as our zoning administrator. Okay. I should have the agenda before you. Are there any additions or corrections to tonight's agenda? I'm going to make one adjustment to it. If you look down to new business under number 2, there's a date for our public hearing for our budget, and that is going to be on 3/16/23, which is the next scheduled monthly meeting. I think yours says 7 p.m. I'm going to push that to 8. So what we will do is we'll start with our normal regular meeting, and then we'll dismiss that, and then we'll go into our budget hearing. So if you make that one correction, 8 p.m.
So we're still starting at 7 with the regular meeting?
That's correct.
Okay.
I'll support it.
Okay, we have agenda 1 change supported. Okay, we got motion and support, 1 change on the agenda. Okay. All right, moving on. Public comment, we'll move that to the end of our meeting, as we've been doing, and we'll get through our business here. Next up is our minutes.
The regular monthly meeting of the Fremont Township Board was held at the Township Hall at 7 p.m. with 5 members present: Gardner, Kovac, Knoll, Shin, and Finesse. Also present, zoning administrator Norm Croft. The agenda was presented without additions. Moved by Kovac, supported by Knoll to accept the agenda. Motion passed. Public comment. Public comment took place at the end of the agenda. Gardner read the minutes of the last regular meeting, 11/17/2022. Stand as presented. Moved by Knoll, supported by Shin to accept the minutes. Motion passed. Gardner read the minutes from the public hearing meeting, 11/22/22. Stand as presented. Moved by Kovac and supported by Shin to accept the minutes. Motion passed. Treasurer's report. There's a separate treasurer report sheet detailing monthly activity regarding bank CDs and tax account information. There's $150,000 in CDs. Reviewed the summer and winter tax collection to date and tax account balance. Shin renewed a CD for 1 year. Received a revenue sharing check for $18,120 to deposit. Attended recall hearings on 12/12/22, 12/22/22, and 1/5/23. Moved by Kovac, supported by Gardner to accept the treasurer's report. Motion passed. Clerk's report. There were 6 hall rentals: Katulski, Partlow, Smith, McClelland, Van Camp, and Katulski again. Nothing for cemetery. Attended public hearing 11/22/22 and recall hearings on 12/12/22, 12/22/22, and 1/5/23. Swore in Board of Review members Knoll, Bueller, Hillman, and Croft. Prepared W-2s and end-of-year tax forms. Moved by Kovac, supported by Shin to accept the clerk's report. Motion passed. Approval of bills. Bills 5460 through 5488 paid in December 22, and bills 5489 through 5502, January 23 were submitted. Moved by Knoll, supported by Shin to pay bills as submitted. Motion passed. Moved by Kovac, supported by Shin to accept the Hendra land split. Motion passed. And we're going to table the Schmidt land split for further review. Supervisor's report gave clarity to FOIA requests and that the township can charge for them. Attended public hearing 11/22/22 and recall hearings 12/12/22, 12/22/22, 12/13/22. 12/13/22 was a Board of Review meeting. 12/15 met with me, Garner, and Towley to review the progress on the SLU application. 12/28/22 met with the Road Commission. 1/5/23, met with me, Garner County, to review progress on the SLU application. 1/17/23, discussion with BTE about substation expansion. Moved by Noel, supported by Shin, to accept the supervisor's report. Motion passed. Nothing for community building, nothing for parks and rec, nothing additional for roads, bridges, and drains. Zoning, there were 0 permits issued, and Crop continues to make visits to monitor cleanup progress. Nothing for cemetery, nothing PA 116, new business. Moved by Kovac, supported by Noel, to accept the Liberty reimbursement agreement. Motion passed. Moved by Noel, supported by Shin, to accept the Semco franchise agreement for the next 30 years. Roll call vote, yes. Noel, Kness, Gardner, and Shin. No, 0, and abstain, Kovac. Motion passed. Special guest speaker was Dan Lowers. The citizens had an opportunity to ask Mr. Lowers questions. Moved by Shin, supported by Noel, to adjourn at 8:52 p.m. Motion passed.
Okay, any questions in regard to, the previous minutes, last month's minutes?
Is there a way board members can get the minutes every month? Connie does it for the planning commission, and that way we can make sure we have everything in our packet complete,
When do you want them?
just for each meeting as we have each meeting.
Prior. Yeah. Yeah, once, after the meeting, you want a copy of it, what you're saying?
Well, I know for planning commission, we get them at the meeting that they're being approved at. So, you know, I'm sure we can realize that they're not approved at that point, but.
Yeah, we can work on that. Right. Yep. Okay, any questions in regard to the minutes that were read?
Oh, just one more thing.
Yeah.
With there being 2 Mike Knowles, and I realize their middle names now are different, I did not know that before. So anyway, do we need to clarify in our minutes, since both are on boards, which one is, you know what I mean?
We're not on the same board, right?
Right.
No, that's what I said, I realize that they are on different boards, but I did not realize because, when we first moved down here and the property that we bought, the man who owned it previous to the current owner, always called them junior and senior. So that's why I did not know that they were not junior and senior. And so I didn't know if it needed to be clarified in our minutes, which Michael Knoll was.
Is there any clarification that goes on in regard to the, PC minutes?
No.
I don't think there's
Because I
any.
didn't know there was an issue until this morning when I happened to look at, and I don't even know how I got on here. It popped up on my phone.
I think because of the distinction between the 2 boards, there's probably sufficient clarity.
Okay.
What do you need to do?
It sounds,
Back off on the base.
it sounds
Oh.
really muffy,
To,
muffly.
Couldn't hardly understand Rita,
okay,
so just go ahead and talk and
all right, yep, I'll continue to
let
talk.
me know when I'm getting it right.
Okay, we've got,
Much better.
I'll make a motion.
motion is what I'm looking for, yep, motion to accept the minutes.
Thank you.
And
Support, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, moving on to our treasurer's report.
All right. Sure.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I need my hand. We continue to have our certificates of deposit in a total of $150,000. The next one maturing is May 28th, 23, for $50,000. My Huntington tax account, I have $404,091.45. that's because I just recently made a huge deposit and it's not time to disperse it yet. I wait 2 weeks so no bounce checks get dispersed. So I have $341,778.43 to disperse throughout the county and to the villages next week. Our ARPA account currently has $103,513.59, which includes $211.38 of interest. Cross drains, that's even here. The tax collection to date, I have collected $437,816.37 in summer. I have collected 687 total parcels for summer, all deferred parcels. Summer deferments have been paid as required. So that leaves 54 parcels delinquent from the summer tax roll for a total of $20,510.32. I do have overpayments for the 2 seasons together for $8.90, $7.30 has to be refunded, because it was an overpayment. And once that deposit's been there for 2 weeks, I will then distribute that with the other distribution I'm gonna make, which will leave us with $1.54 of overpayments and taxes. Winter taxes that I've collected so far is $748,479.78 of 590 parcels. So for the total, we have 150 parcels left for winter payment. Those are due by February the 28th, which I have office hours at my house that day from 9:30 to 5:30. If anyone wants to stop by and pay their taxes. So far, Fremont operating millage that I have collected is $29,414.42. Township roads is $73,577.70. The winter admin fee is $7,407.92. The summer is $4,331.54. If you'll look, you'll see on the back that the settlement report, those numbers do match. I just give you another report because the settlement, that report that I printed from the BSNA was too long for 1 page. And then I have a separate that shows all of the special assessments that I've collected so far, $70,662.06. So, do you have any questions on those? Where's my cheat sheet? I did the escrow account for Liberty has been funded. I did get a deposit today for $70,000. So that, once we get our invoices from previous payments of expenses, then we can disperse. I'm gonna sign up tomorrow for online banking so I can transfer the exact amount of money I need into the general fund for those invoices that Rita will provide. I think that's probably the best way to do it. I don't recall if I told you, I don't know if I knew this, but our municipal checking accounts will now get 1% interest versus the way low 0.05, whatever it used to be. So that will change the, I don't think the escrow account should be an interest-bearing account, is my thought. I know the tax account is not, because any interest I receive has to follow the millage, so it's not worth the hassle of trying to do that. So, do you have any thoughts on the escrow?
tax account, does that go, you don't send a paper check, do you? Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, last summer, when I took a check from a member of Huntington Bank to Huntington Bank to cash it, I was charged $10 since I'm not account holder of Huntington Bank.
You went to the bank with a check,
From drawn on their
drawn,
bank.
but you don't have an account at Huntington Bank.
Right.
Okay.
They
all right.
charged me $10 to
Yep,
cash
you
the check.
You don't have an account at the bank.
But the check
probably.
was drawn on Huntington Bank.
But you don't have an account,
No,
so,
I know if I go to Tri-County with a check from Tri-County, even though I do not have an account there, they will cash it without charging me $10. That's why I
you'll
was
have to take it
curious.
up with the bank.
No,
I
I was curious
so-
if they're gonna do this to everybody that you give a paper check to.
No, they would, the school, Croslex, Tech, the county, they would deposit it in their account, and it would just be just like any other,
No
They don't
different than you get a
Yeah.
paycheck and put it in your bank.
yeah.
Do the same thing.
Right.
And Huntington is a
Huntington
more,
is just doing
national.
strange things that,
well,
I
because
don't
they're national,
understand,
they're
so-
bigger and they have,
that's why I was curious if they're gonna do that. You know, for example, if to a resident, you send them a paper check because they overpaid or something like that, or say their, mortgage company paid their taxes, so you refunded them their taxes. When they go to Huntington Bank to cash that check, are they gonna have to pay the $10?
if they don't have a account, probably. I mean, that's the bank issue, not a township issue.
Yeah, no, I was just curious if you even knew that that was going on.
I don't know all bank policies, so. That's all I have, I did go take a trip, but I'll do that later. Okay? If you have time. Yeah, that's all I have, those are my notes. Okay.
Okay, is there a motion to approve, accept the treasurer's report? Okay, Gardner makes a motion, is there support?
Support.
Support by Noel. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. Moving on to the bills to be paid. Are there any questions on these bills? I have one, I don't know if you can answer this, Rita, but I was just curious, I'll look back on my own, but our gas bill, our Semco bill, how different has that been this year from previous years? Okay, since okay, more use of the building, our heat bill's been up, so, okay. All right. One of the large bills that we had to pay, this, pay period for this month was, the drains at large bill. And, that's gonna be part of what I look at, in adjusting the budget as well. But there's $12,374.91, and, that is in regard to, the ditch work, clean out work of our drains that has been going on, throughout the late fall, early winter season, within the township. And, if some of you may have seen, a ditch assessment on some of your property taxes, that would be part of what this, cost is as well. Anything else with the bills to be paid?
That, PSMA software, is that for, Shelley's, or is that just for the assessment?
That $472 for assessment, okay. Yep. Any other questions on the bills? And support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, moving on to, clerk's report.
Attended court hearings on 1/24/23, 1/26/23, 2/6/23, 2/13/23, and 2/14/23. There were 3 hall rentals for a total of 400, and 1 FOIA request for a total of $448.96 to turn in. And the Semco franchise agreement has been published in the Jeffersonian on February 10th and Sanilac County News February 15th.
Is there a motion to accept the clerk's report? Motion and support?
Support.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, moving on to supervisor's report. On 1/30, I met with Row Engineering and the County Road Commission and Speaker Township in regard to potentially hiring an inspector for the wind project. On 1/31, I reviewed the SLU, came from a lawyer, and the safety data information from Vestas. On 2/6, I attended an appeal hearing. On 2/13, I attended another appeal hearing. Posted a sign twice, once for the PC meeting and then once for tonight's meeting. And yesterday, 2/15, I talked with Pete Smith in regard to follow-up conversation at his house in regard to the property line adjustment that we're working on for him. That's all I had for that specifically. I do want to, well, I'll take a motion to accept that report first. All right.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right. Then I wanted to look at our budget. I want to make some line adjustments to our budget. There are a few line items that we have gone over. First one being line 704, which is zoning wages. We've had considerably more zoning meetings than what I had budgeted for, and so I want to raise that line item 704 to $10,000. That'll be a $2,500 increase over what was budgeted. It was budgeted at $7,500. Next is line item 728, and that is postage. We were about $500 over on our postage, and I'm going to raise that line item to $1,700. And then miscellaneous expense, some of this may get pushed into some different categories because some of the stuff just kind of got lumped in there, but we were over $1,500 on that line item.
On which one?
That would be on miscellaneous expense, 800, yeah, not line item 800. I'm gonna raise that to 5,500. And then this is the drains at large. It's line item 805. We were over that by $2,200, and I'm gonna raise that to 12,200, which should put us right in line with what we just approved to spend there. I think that is all of the items that needed to be adjusted. Yes, I would entertain a
I
motion.
will make a motion.
Okay, Karen makes a motion,
Support.
Noel supports. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, moving on to, old business. Wanted to give you an update on the, glass project. Been working with Sanilac Glass Marquettes for quite a while now on this project. Looks like just about a year. And, the last quote I got from him, this past week, actually the quote was from October. I finally got it this week. And, we had originally had a quote of $40,000 to replace this front glass on our building. He's changed the engineering of it a little bit because of the way that he needs to set the glass into the side of the building. So it's actually come down to about $25,000. He'll give me an update on that in regard to materials, because between October and now, the materials price may have changed some.
So he's not gonna put as many windows in?
Well, what he's done, it was gonna be glass top to bottom, and because of the way he's gotta set it in, there's gonna be a small section at the top that will be just a filler, will be filled in, and then the bottom portion will be glass.
And are they open at all?
No, these are not scheduled to open at all. So, no. But anyway, I wanted to give you an update on that, that's where we're at with that project.
Huge difference.
Yeah, I know it is. It's a big difference. That's why I wanna get I'm gonna get a firm bid on that, just to let him update his materials cost. And, then I think we'll give him a deposit check so he can get rolling on it. Probably wait till warmer weather. I don't think he'll be tearing apart right now. So we'll get it going.
And if you could find out how long it'll be under construction, so Rita knows, because graduation's coming up.
We'll try to fit it in, like, before we get too busy with, rentals.
I figure we could charge an extra $100 for open viewing.
There you go,
For what now?
for the
An
ambiance.
extra $100 for open viewing.
Right.
Oh, fresh air. Yeah.
Okay, I don't have anything for, Parks and Rec. Roads and Drain, I have a gravel contract from the county road commission. We're gonna change our gravel this year back to limestone. Last year we went with 21 AA stone that came out of mid-Michigan. It was a little marbly on the roads and didn't settle in quite as nice as I had liked it to. So we're gonna go back to a limestone material, coming out of Blue Water Aggregate, Marysville. This contract is for $100,000. Material this year is costing us $20.65 a ton. So, I'll make a motion to accept this bid for road gravel.
Roughly how many miles, Jeff?
Probably about 12 miles, between 12 and 14, depending how it gets spread, is usually what we are able to cover for our $100,000.
I'll support, because the gravel was a nightmare.
The gravel didn't work in quite as well as I hoped.
I like the limestone, I'm so glad that that was changed a few years ago to limestone, that was perfect.
Do I hear any?
More tires.
Okay, Jim supports, all in favor of this gravel contract, indicate by saying aye. Any opposed, same sign. Okay, I don't have anything for cemetery, anybody else? Next on the agenda, the Schmidt, land split, we're gonna, table that until next month again. John Militex was out today to make some corrections to, the lines. The original survey was 25 foot from, the barn. Our zoning requires 35 foot, and, so John was out today, got those straightened around, and, we should be able to act on it next month. Under new business, wanted to make everybody aware of the board of review dates. We will be holding board of review here, for anybody that is concerned or needs, something done with, their property in regard to taxes or some error that may be on your tax roll. That will be on the 13th and the 14th. And those dates are also posted in the paper.
And it'll be on your assessment paper that Shelley sends out. That stuff's on there as well.
Yes, yeah, Shelley will have those on the assessment papers that she sends to you as well, so. Also would like to, have a motion to accept the contract for our assessor. Shelley Baumeister is our assessor, and her contract was up, at the end of this year, which is, the end of March. Our fiscal year runs from April 1 to March 31, and so her contract will be done at the end of March. She gets paid per parcel, $14 per parcel is her fee, and then she also gets $100 whenever she has land split. So those are the fees that she gets paid. But I would like a motion to accept and extend this contract. It will be for one year.
I'll move that we accept, that we do that.
Okay, I have a motion, is there a question?
Yeah, no, that's, no.
Okay.
I was gonna make a motion to.
Okay. So you be support?
Yes, I will.
All right, we have motion and support to accept Shelley's contract for 1 year, $14 per parcel. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, next along the same lines with board review, each year we are required to adopt the poverty guidelines. Fremont Township uses the federal guidelines for our poverty limits. And so I would make a motion that we tonight adopt the federal poverty guidelines for 2023, which will set the income levels.
I'll move.
I'll support.
Okay, motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. Next item under number 2 under new business is in regard to our budget hearing. We need to have our budget hearing, our public hearing for our budget before the beginning of our new year. And so we will plan to do that on 3/16, which will be next month's regular board meeting. And we'll do our regular board meeting, and then we will adjourn that meeting, and then we will move into our budget hearing, the public hearing for our budget. So we'll have that budget available for you, and you can look that over for line items for income and expenses for our township. And then the last I have is in regard to the printing agreement. Sanilac County Equalization sends out an agreement for our townships in regard to printing. This could be the assessment notices, could be tax bills, those types of things. And we just need a motion to accept the 23 agreement for these printing services.
I will make a motion to accept that.
You will make that motion?
I will support it. I'm not doing
Okay, we have a motion and support. Sounds like most everyone's in favor. Whoever's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Okay, motion passed. We'll take care of that as well. All right, that's all I have on our agenda for tonight's meeting, except for Norm.
Norm.
I forgot. Oh, I already passed you, didn't I? Here, you want these?
Send that in.
Okay,
No permits this month, no one came back to see me, so that was awesome. So we've already talked about, the Schmidt, land split. Been working with Jeff on that. That was for the most part went by, seen some people, said hello, and we'll roll with that. The stuff's listed right there. Again, we don't talk about individuals.
Did you have a report? No, you had no report.
No, I am doing.
Okay.
He did
You
give
got it.
everybody a piece of paper that said that
Yeah,
he
you
had
should,
no,
yeah,
he had no permits.
in
And
your
then
copious papers.
I don't have that.
you have a paper that says enforcement issues.
No. I put it in the- No. Nope, I don't.
Here, have another.
Well, I was gonna tell you too, Norm. Norm's been working with, a gentleman in our township who is taking in cars, and then he fixes them up and gives them to veterans. He's a veteran, but this is what he does, and, I got rid of one of my old cars.
Awesome.
I drove it over to him, and then he drove me home and took the car. So it worked out, but it does work. So if you got a vehicle that you wanna get rid of, that maybe you don't use anymore for whatever reason, he will take those cars and put them in good use. Okay, is there a motion to accept, Norm's report?
I'll move.
I'll support. Norm, okay, and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Very good. Sorry, I forget, I forgot about you. At this point, we will accept any public comment. Is there anybody that wants to hear anything?
I'm Jessica Enbrecht. I had sent a FOIA request, back on January 9th. And my request was specifically for a copy of the August 2021, September 2021, and all of the 2022 board meeting minutes. For some reason, my FOIA request was changed to all of the 2022 approved board meeting minutes. Can you tell me why that was?
I talked to the lawyer about that, and because we had not approved them yet at January meeting, and they were specifically marked as a public hearing, he said just to do that separately.
So, as far as a public record, that can be a draft, it doesn't have to be an approved meeting minute? Am I correct? From the Freedom of Information Act, it can be any type of scribbles that's taken during these meetings that we have access to.
No, so what you're saying is that you want you want the official minutes of the meetings, is that what I'm hearing?
I didn't say official, I said all of the board meeting minutes,
Okay,
and it got
Okay.
changed to approved board meeting minutes.
well, if they are not approved, then they aren't, official at that point, I mean, that would be,
Well, I didn't indicate official, approved, unapproved. Doesn't have to be approved for me to have access to it, because it's still a public record.
and that's what we supplied with, didn't we?
After the fact. I didn't get the November 22nd meeting minutes until just the other day. which was.
But you did receive what you had asked for, correct?
A month later, yeah.
Okay, all right. That was based on what our lawyer said, the minutes that are approved, then we send them, we can send them out to a FOIA, for a FOIA request.
Okay, but that's not what the Freedom of Information Act says for the state of Michigan.
We're working based on what our lawyer gave us.
Okay, well, I emailed Brian too,
Okay,
and I never heard back from him either, so.
okay.
And then, since we approved the January 17th meeting minutes tonight, I asked for a minute after the meeting so I can take a look at them and inspect them. Is that okay?
They are approved.
Can I look at them after the meeting?
Yeah, I think so. We got copies of them. There's one.
Yeah, I don't wanna take it, I just wanna look at it. And then also, last meeting, Jeff, you said that we have access to the treasurer's report and all the bills paid.
Yeah, we did not get that yet, and we're gonna work on doing that. We're gonna try to get a list, so we got at least a paper out here, for you to look at each month. I've been to 2 other meetings, Greenwood and Speaker, and I know they do that as well, so we're gonna work to do that.
Okay.
Yep.
So, will the ones from December, even at the end of last year, be available? Cause I'd asked for those too just recently.
Okay,
I have 5 days to respond to that.
okay,
Get that.
we're working on it. Okay, it's coming.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright, well, thank you.
Okay,
I'll
yep,
get hold of Brian again so he can answer my question.
okay.
Oh, you go ahead. You go ahead, yep.
Hi, my name's Kathy McGarvey. I live in Fremont Township. I respect everybody's rights in this township. What this lady just asked is related to the money and the finances going on in this community. Every meeting that you're submitting, what your large sums of money are going out there to pay for bills. It should be itemized and all the general public should be able to see and view. As for this township, going up for appeals or recalls or whatever, that is not township funded. It's against the law to take money out of our taxpayers' money to pay for what's going on. If you're getting a donation from Liberty, it's another story.
We're not using any township funds for anything.
Well, you basically just said in your minutes tonight that you were being paid for appeals. In your own words, you said it.
No,
Yes. Well, I don't appreciate our township money being paid for you guys.
your township money is not,
Okay,
none, nothing.
okay. So the next thing,
And nothing's coming from Liberty.
I would personally, I think a lot of the people in this audience would like to know exactly what this township's receiving from Liberty that's in our bank account in this township. Because it was made public to me by Liberty that our township should be upfront with the residents in this township. And none of us, I don't think there's a single person in this audience that actually knows what they are contributing to our township. Because it's never been made available.
Well, until tonight, they have not contributed anything. Patty just told you that
I just told you
the
that.
reimbursement account, which had been set up, was just funded. And there's $70,000 from Liberty in that reimbursement account. And that will be to pay bills that are specific to costs that came from Liberty's activity. That could be our lawyer, that would be one of the largest ones, and meeting fees, those kinds of things that need to be covered. Those aren't things that any of us should have to pay. No township residents should have to pay that. That's not township money. That's,
Okay.
those expenses.
Those are
incurred.
expenses that I imagine will occur in regards to if they damage the roads or whatever else. My next question is, how can this township issue a special land use permit without knowing exactly what they are being used for? As a resident of this township, in order for me to get a permit, I had to show exactly what was going on my property. I went up to a Liberty open house. They basically told me it could be possibly Vista 162. They told another Fremont Township, oh, it might be GE. I pray to God that this township doesn't issue a permit for something that we don't have any idea what's going on. I'm serious. And there's a big difference. Because the height on a GE at the megahertz or whatever, the voltage, the 6, is approximately 656 feet tall from the base to the top of the blade, which is illegal. And I was quoted by Brian from Liberty that the Vista 162s are 729 feet tall. So we need to get these facts because, you know, we're getting mixed. I mean, there's so much controversy going on in this township. It's unbelievable.
The application that has been submitted shows a Vestas 162, and the height of that is 656 feet.
Well, that's what I
To the
quoted
tip of
him,
the
and
blade.
he quoted me, no, you're wrong, they're 729 feet tall, Kathy. And that was just a week ago.
Okay, well, you'll have to take that up with him.
Well,
Because
I'm
can-
not, you know, I'm just a citizen. I mean, I'd hate to find out that once you issue a permit, oh, we forgot to tell you, they grew an extra 100 feet.
They can't. It's
No,
not-
they can't, you can't, right, they can't do that.
That'll be-
And my other question for this township is, do these contracts that they have out there supersede what our ordinance are? In regards to how close they can be to property lines? Because in their contracts, they're trampling right over all the ordinance that we have in place in regards to the distance right now. It basically states in these contracts that they have the right and you have no say about how close they're going to your property line once you sign one of these contracts. So I'm wondering, is this township gonna be responsible enough to supersede what these contracts at Liberty are putting out there?
The contract that a property owner signs doesn't supersede zoning. Our zoning
Okay, well,
is first. So whatever our zoning says, that's
you
what.
might, you
Are
might,
you talking about what they consider the good neighbor agreement?
yes, I am.
Okay. That good neighbor agreement still has to follow the ordinance.
Well, that's not exactly, well, I've seen 3 different varieties of these
I
contracts.
took that good neighbor agreement because I wanted to know what it was. I sent it to my attorney so that she could review it for me, so that if I'm talking about it, I know what it says. And they still have to follow the ordinance. They can't skirt around the ordinance. The only thing that agreement will do is it would allow them to place something closer to your property line, because if you sign that agreement, it's the same as if you're a participant.
Well,
You are a participant.
Yeah.
So that's what you're probably referring to, Kathy.
I just feel sorry for the people that are agreeing to these good neighbor contracts, because it gives them the right to be on your property and do as they damn well please for the next 40 years. And it's also putting a lien on your mortgage. And people don't, you know, it doesn't say that in the contract. Call the bank up and ask them. If you have a mortgage to a bank and you question these contracts, this is a lien on your property for the next 40 years.
It is a long-term agreement, you're right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if you sell your property, it goes with.
No, it doesn't. Not necessarily, because that's not what Brian says. I can walk away, if I sell my property tomorrow and the towers are already up, I can walk away with the money. for the next 40 years. I don't have to give the people that are buying my property that money. That's agreement between me and the company. That doesn't automatically transfer. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. I mean, and yes, I think this township, the minutes was being paid out monthly. I think everybody in this audience in the township should be aware exactly where the money's going. That's part of our law.
It's your money.
Yeah, you're right, it is our money. So, thank you for your time, you have a good day, and
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
Yep.
With regard to the Vestas letter that was posted to the Speaker Township website and shared to the Fremont Speaker Alliance website, I would like to address a few issues. Those of you who have read the letter, I'm sure noticed the irony in that letter. They stated the wind turbines intended for Riverbend Wind Site are sufficient to meet public safety standards within county ordinances. In a June 30th, 2011 letter that Vestas submitted to the Danish government, Vestas admitted that they had no technology to mitigate the rumble and roar, which are characteristics of low-frequency noises or sources. What has changed? Did they solve the problem? Is their current solution to cover up the problem by not releasing test data and using denial in public? Due to their assertions, we need to demand the following items to protect our community. We need to demand and they need to provide the peer-reviewed independent studies they use to draw those exact conclusions. Next, we need to demand and they need to provide all documents showing that utility-scale wind turbines of the size and megawatt being installed close to rural homes today have been shown to be safe as required by the 1972 Noise Control Act. We need to demand and they need to provide the unredacted full IEC 61400-11 test data. The IEC 61400-11 International Electrotechnical Commission is an international standard for performing testing on wind turbines. It describes the method and equipment that must be used to properly determine their safety for the exact make and model that they are proposing to install, and that has to be shared openly with the public so independent reviews of whether their newer and larger wind turbines have solved the problems of excessive low-frequency noise. ANSI standards in the U.S. have limits on low-frequency sound that can be used to assess the potential for a noise source to create annoyance from rumble and roar. These studies must actually be performed, not just a computer model. These needs to be field studies, and we have the duty to demand these. Now, if you only care about the money, you haven't heard anything I've said. However, to ignore this information could be considered negligence. And please note, Vestas finished their letter stating that their letter is for discussion purposes only and is not an offer of any commitment or additional warranty on their part, nor is it intended to be legally binding or to give rise to any legal or fiduciary relationship between Vestas or its affiliates and any other person. Also, I talked to the Fish and Wildlife and asked them how they are going to protect the eagles in the township from the bat and bird blender turbines. I won't tell you who I spoke with because we want to protect their jobs from the wrath of big wind. They told me we have lots of eagles in the area and they will recommend they don't put turbines around them, but they can't stop them. The turbine company has to buy a take permit for $20,000 and they can kill as many eagles as they want. I would like to know who the biologists are that are doing the avian study in Fremont Township. I have talked to a conservationist and he would like to know their names to see if they are reputable and can be trusted with this kind of a job. Within the last couple of months, it is the first time I have seen eagles in our area. It would be very nice to keep on seeing them. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. The information that you read, is that something that has been submitted to Liberty?
No.
Is that something that we could get a copy of to
Yep.
submit? I mean, that's the only way that there's gonna be a response if it's submitted.
We'll submit it.
You'll submit, okay, perfect. All right.
Thank you.
That would be my suggestion in regard to that.
My name's Tracy from Fremont Township, Tulski. When you're doing bids on things, I know you got at least a huge reduction in the price of the windows. But do you, when you go around, like I see in Speaker and other townships, they put a notice in the paper, a bid for windows, so then you can get maybe other companies to come in and see where you're at? I mean, it doesn't mean you have to go with the lowest or the highest, you see what they're gonna be able to do for you as for the windows. I would think as a township and like a school, they get bids for everything.
Yeah, we can get another bid if you'd like to, yeah. I mean, I decided to work with Mark because he's, real reputable, recommended actually was.
Right, cause you have somebody even in the township that even does glass too, out of Richmond.
Yeah,
So
we could check with Richard too.
So there's, just so you're having it open to the public, that you have people coming in and giving you quotes
Yep.
as it's not being like partial to one person that.
Right, sure, yep.
Thank you.
Okay,
Hey, can I just make one more comment?
sure.
Am I ever gonna get my new road signs?
I haven't forgot about you. I haven't forgot. Okay, I think we'll,
Got one way in the back.
one way in the back. Oh, Scott.
As you wrap up the meeting, I just want to remind everybody, the parking lot is very icy.
Okay.
So be very careful when you go to your cars after the meeting.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
And the roads are probably been out too.
Yeah. And you can leave your chairs here, leave everything set up, cause, we've got another meeting coming up, Tuesday, next week. So, we'll do it.
I just got one. On the back round table, I made up papers so that if Highline happened to damage one of your road tubes, whether it's a driveway tube or on one of your fields, write down your name and you'll see the little thing there. Just write that out and I'll give it to a guy that works for the road commission to give them. We had one that was damaged and it still isn't fixed from last summer, so I don't want it fixed.
That's another question, why are they going back down the same roads that they've been down already?
Well, I don't know they are. They're doing some boring on some of the same roads that they're crossing under to make a hookup, those kind of things. They're
Okay.
still working in the area because the
I
weather's
noticed
been mild, so they've been able to continue their work. So, yep. Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Leave. Thanks.